Hey guys, today we're going to talk a little bit more about word problems. Okay, so you've got 8 word problems on this paper. Number 8 is going to be crossed off on the back, so really you only have 7. And I'm going to talk about 3 of these problems, so you will only have 4 that are assigned to you. Okay, so I'm going to start on number 2. Okay, so remember you have to write 2 equations for each of these. It says there are 13 animals in the barn. Some are chickens and some are pigs. There are 40 legs in all. How many of each animal are there? And so you need to analyze the information you have. You have 13 animals in the barn and there are 40 legs in all. Okay, so you need to write one equation that talks about the number of animals there are and an equation that talks about the number of legs. Okay, so the first equation, we got chickens and pigs, so I'm going to have C and P be our variable. Okay, so you're going to have chickens plus pigs equals 13. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now the equation that talks about how many legs there are. Okay, so we know there are 40 legs total, but we must compare that to how many legs a chicken has and how many legs a pig has. Okay, well, we know, of course, that chickens have 2 legs, and pigs, of course, have 4 legs. Okay, so with these 2 equations, we can go ahead and solve. Okay, so we're going to do this through elimination. Okay, so we want this C to be the same number as this, but have the opposite sign. So to multiply 1 to get -2, you have to multiply everything by -2. Okay, so let's go ahead and rewrite that column. Okay, so -2 times 1c, we got -2c. -2 times p gives us -2p. And -2 times 13 gives us -26. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add these 3 columns. And when you add them all up, the C's go away. If you have 4p and you add -2p, you get 2p. And if you get 40 and you add -26, that's going to be 14. Okay, so divide each side by 2. You're going to divide each side by 2, and you get pigs equals 7. Okay, so since you know there are 7 pigs in the barn, you can go ahead and plug that back into your equation. C plus P equals 13. You know that pigs, there are 7 of them. Subtract 7 on both sides, and you get chickens equals 6. Okay, so there are 6 chickens in the barn. There are 7 pigs in the barn. I got a joke for you. What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs impaled on a stick? Think about it. Think about it. Lance. Okay. Hey, let's try another one. Okay, so we're going to look at number 4. It says a class of 195 students went on a field trip. They took 7 vehicles, some cars and some buses. Find the number of cars and number of buses they took if each car holds 5 students and each bus holds 45 students. Okay, so once again, you want to write an equation where one of them talks about the number of vehicles and one of them talks about the number of total kids and each type of vehicle. Okay, so we know we have cars and buses, and we know we took 7 total. And we know we took 195 kids total on the buses and the cars. And we know that the cars hold 5 students, and the buses hold 45 students. Okay, once again, we're going to solve this through elimination. Okay, so I want this number in front of the top C to be a negative 5. Well, what do I have to multiply 1 by to get negative 5? Of course, I'm going to have to multiply everything by negative 5. Oops. Okay, so negative 5 times c is negative 5c. Negative 5 times b is minus 5b. And negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. Okay, so now we can go ahead and add all these lines up. Okay, our c goes bye-bye. If you add our b's, 45 plus negative 5 is 40b. And 195 plus negative 35 would give us 160. Okay, let's solve that equation. Okay, we got 40b equals 160. Divide each side by 40, undoing multiplication with division. And our b equals 4. Okay, so we know we're taking 4 buses to the field trip. And since there are 7 vehicles total, we would of course take 3 cars. I got another joke for you. What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs in a hot tub? Think about it. Think about it. Stew. Okay, so last problem, we're going to go ahead and talk about number 7. And these type of problems are wordy, but you just got to see, you've got to write an equation that talks about the total number of something and the number of something that it does. Okay, so it says Elisa's Printing Company has 2 kinds of printing presses, Model A, which can print 70 books, and B, which can print 55 books. The company owns 14 total printing presses, and they get 905 books a day. Okay, so we know that Model A plus Model B, we know that there's 14 total printing presses between them. Okay, and then we know that Model B prints 55 books, and Model A prints 70 books, and total they print 905. Okay, so we have 70A plus 55B equals 905. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and solve this one through elimination again. Okay, so we need this top one to be a negative 70. So to multiply 1 to get negative 70, you have to multiply everything by negative 70. Okay, so let's multiply this out. Negative 70 times A is negative 70A. Negative 70 times B would be negative 70B. And negative 70 times 14, if you do that on a calculator, oops, excuse me, I made a mistake back here. Let me go ahead and redo this problem for us. Okay, so I accidentally said that 70 times b was negative 70b. That should have been a positive. And I'm dumb. That is another mistake. Okay, so this should be a negative 70. So I apologize. So it should be negative 70a minus 70b, and then if you multiply negative 70 times 14, you should get negative 980. Okay, so we're good to add these columns now. Okay, so when you add the columns, your a's will cancel. 55 plus negative 70 would be negative 15b. And 905 plus negative 980 would equal negative 75. And if you solve that equation, divide each side by negative 15, that would give you, there would be 5b printing presses. And since there are 14 total printing presses, that would give you 9A printing presses. Okay, go ahead and rewrite or watch that problem. I'm sorry for the mistake. Have a good one.